Well, rock and roll. We can keep talking though. So, seen any good movies lately?
I saw a movie last night. I
everyone
saw Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, the late night talk show Possession movie.
Yeah, it was okay.
Aren't we supposed to see that together? Weren't we? Didn't you say?
That's awkward.
Didn't you
Oh,
say
yeah.
you wanted to
supposed
see
to
it?
Yeah. Well, after you flaked on Peter's thing, I was like, oh, Art's had enough of me. He doesn't want to see a movie with
All right,
me.
so I want to ask you, okay, about the empathy thing,
Yes.
because that's really because that's something I think about how empathetic I am, or
Okay.
where, in general, or Asians in general, on how empathetic they are,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all of that. So you took the test
Uh-huh.
along with your friends, and
Yeah.
you came out as the least empathetic of your friends.
Right.
Overall average empathy,
Yeah.
but on the whatever.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of questions come up and that you had to say no to
In the test,
in the test?
it's like literally like when you see someone sad, like do you feel? It's like the most straightforward. Like you could answer.
And you said no to that.
I mean, I feel like there's more. This was years ago. I'm trying to think. There's like more nuance, obviously, but like I try to be honest. But I think you're right. There's probably some self-criticisms, like, oh, probably not that, like, empathetic in this situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard. Those tests are flawed. I'm very empathetic. I'm a good person. no one forget that. But yeah, I mean, the questions are, I think, clear. That you can, if you want, you could really mess with it. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, but you said no to that, right?
Well, sorry. The way that the question's set up is like it's a
like a
range from 1 to 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it I just did like average.
So if I were to ask you that right now, what would
Yeah.
the range? What would your number be?
if I saw someone sad,
If you saw someone sad, if
Yeah.
someone came in, their dad just died,
yeah,
Yeah.
they're sad.
yeah,
Do you feel sad by osmosis?
yes. Like I've looked at people crying and I started crying. Like I'm just like,
that's
Oh.
very empathetic. It's like a
yeah,
five,
yeah. Again, I'm not empathetic.
Well,
I'm just
also, it's
average.
like sad about what? I think the context.
it's
is too.
context.
If it's some
Context is
bullshit,
important.
then no, I don't really feel sad.
Would you?
some bullshit.
If a friend,
If I saw a friend who was sad,
yeah.
I'd have to ask why.
Me too.
Yeah, right.
Bawling
Me
their eyes
too.
out.
I think
Yeah.
context is important there. Yeah, it would
Yeah.
determine how sad I felt for them.
But then they say their dad died.
Oh, I would feel.
You'd feel bad.
I
yeah.
would be at a 4.
Yeah.
So would you cry with them? Would your day get fucked because of?
Nah, I would feel for them. I would not cry.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
I would not. I would not.
You have to say it
uh,
like I would cry.
And then after I left, it would just be back to normal. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Wow,
that's
did you
completely
have
true.
to-
But like,
You feel a pressure as a friend, or maybe an obligation as a friend to pick up someone who is sad,
Yeah.
right? Which I do. I feel the obligation to go check in with them,
Yeah.
and I do that almost robotically, like
yeah.
of like they need someone, so I will be there.
Right.
But I if you were to like check my levels, if you could somehow measure my emotion levels, it hasn't moved. Like, I would
Yeah.
prefer they be happier, and I know they're going
Right.
through a tough time, and I need to be there for them. But I won't feel that.
You don't feel empathetic usually.
No. Oh yeah, I guess that's what empathy.
Yeah, yeah.
is.
No, you know what would
If
be a
you
better
feel exactly
question
what
for
they're
that?
feeling.
Right.
A better question
Mirroring.
would be is if instead of if you see somebody who's sad, do you feel sad? If you see somebody who's happy, do you feel happy? I think that's better.
And
Goes both ways.
when this is gonna sound, I don't know how this sounds, but when it comes to sports,
Yeah.
if my friends are really happy, like the Knicks are winning, then I'll feel really happy.
Really?
Okay.
Then I'm going.
Oh wow.
That's how I
feel
got into
nothing.
sports. Is all my friends losing their shit.
Yeah.
That's what happened when
Knicks.
we watched the
Wow.
Wimbledon
When
final.
we watched Wimbledon, I
Yeah.
can't help it.
That was so fun.
So the
that's
positive
fascinating.
emotions I can empathize with, but not the
Fucking
negative.
pumped.
Oh man.
Wow, that's so interesting.
But
Welcome to this empathy podcast.
and this is the stuff I've been trying to navigate, which is why I'm so interested in asking you, is because
Yeah.
when I watch compelling stories on TikTok or YouTube, these videos of people's stories, or like a Marine just came back from war and
Yeah.
surprised the family, or a son just came out to his father and a
Yeah,
father
yeah.
accepts and they cry. I cry.
Okay.
I find I can't help
Yeah.
but feel all of that. It's such a touching
I think you have
story.
you have the empathy.
Okay.
You have the ick. But there are people who think they have a lot of empathy and they're like the worst people in the world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
people that say that they're an empath.
Yes.
And everything.
So I think that's what triggered it. I like said I was an empath, not really understanding what it actually meant. I was just like, I have empathy, therefore I'm an empath. But it means like you have an extreme amount of empathy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we went down this like rabbit hole of
What
does it
is
mean?
the thing? It's when someone is an empath, that means that they feel exactly what you're feeling.
like all the time. Yeah. To the point where it's just like it's like kind of annoying. It's like, no, I don't need you to be sad with me. I need you to like support me. You know what I mean? Like you can be a little sad, but like I don't need you to like also be in the same position.
Can you imagine your dad dies and then your friend cries harder than you?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
that's what I'm saying.
competition,
I don't
dude.
want to be that guy.
You have to console your
Right.
empath friend.
I think empaths are like that, which is crazy. Speaking of, I wanted to make an app called Cry, where you like go on there and you watch a bunch of content to make you cry. Do you think that'd work?
Why'd you think do you want to do that?
Well, I was thinking about going into UX design, and you have to like the good way to do it's like if you prototype like an app, and I was like, that's the app I'll make. And I like got like user data, like would you use this app? Like what makes you cry? Like I have like 100 people.
That's
but I never made it.
Well, so would it have like an Instagram algorithm where it would curate content?
Oh yeah, dude, for sure.
Like made for you to cry?
Yeah, and I think I like had an idea of like it'll like scan your face at all times to see if tears are coming.
So invasive.
That's what they do anyway, you know? They like track eye movement. It's crazy.
Look, my post got 70 dislikes. It's just a teardrop.
Yeah, just teardrops.
Heart, yeah.
And what were you hoping to achieve with that? Why were you trying to get
Catharsis?
people to
I just
cry?
think it was mainly like targeted for men who like don't cry ever. And to be like, oh, right now would be a nice cry. And you just open this
Wow.
app and you just be like, okay, I'm doing it. Yeah, catharsis. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cathartic utility, which is also weird because I feel like catharsis can't be a utility. It just needs to like happen.
I don't know what would make me cry. Maybe like the future.
Oh my god.
That would make me sad.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
your future,
I want to
or-
cry thinking about your future.
Yeah, me too.
I'm such an empath right now. So,
Thank you for
when's the
your
last time
support.
you cried?
Me? I cry.
Wow.
I cry at movies.
Yes, me too, man.
I cry at movies.
Almost too easy.
Really?
My friend,
Would you say so?
My friend says
I think movies are super effective at making you cry because you're spending a prolonged amount of time with these characters.
Yeah.
So you do it makes sense to like attach yourself to them and their
Yes.
emotions. But if you're crying at TikToks, I mean,
No.
it doesn't
Let me
matter how
clear
gay
up.
the kid is or how long
gay
the
the
father
kid is.
was in the Marines. I'm not gonna cry at a TikTok.
wow, so you,
All right, I say TikTok's just to shorten it, okay?
Right,
I'm not
right.
going through TikTok to girl dancing and I'm
like,
sobbing.
"Oh."
Yeah.
No, I think the reason I say is
cried
because just on TikTok, there's people upload stuff from actual, like TV shows or
Yeah.
whatever. Someone put up like an America's Got
Clips.
Talent thing of a girl. She had cancer, and she just wanted to audition, and she goes and auditions, and everyone's sobbing. She's so good.
Really?
She gets the golden buzzer and
Yeah.
everything. And it was like afterwards, it's like, yeah. Then she died a week later. Like,
Oh my god.
Come on, dude.
You cry at that? That shit's so fun.
dude, I cried. And then once I find something that makes me cry,
Yeah.
I hunt all the story behind it, all the clips I can find behind it to
Yeah.
get more, like,
Let's build this app, dude.
Milk.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Let's build this
milk it.
app.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect.
There
Yeah.
has to be some sort of like dopamine or serotonin release whenever you cry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I think
Yeah.
that actually, I think they've done studies, and then that's like what happens.
Oh.
The catharsis.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Blunder Bus Podcast. We talking about cry, and that's a big blunder. My name is Art Kai, my co-host.
Vic Tran.
Today we have a great, funny guy, good pal, Peter
Wong.
Wong, everybody. Well, okay.
I thought we were all
What the
introducing
hell?
ourselves.
Overstepping already. What the hell? No, Peter, what's up? Good to see you. We're talking about crying. I wanted to go back to this because you said something interesting. Do you think Asians cry less? You said something about being an Asian, and you're like the empathy thing, and also
Yes.
the Asian thing. And I'm like,
Yeah, I
huh,
do think so.
Interesting.
I think Asians probably cry less overall. Maybe.
We had. An
I would
app
say like
for the data. It'd be so good.
Have you ever seen your parents cry?
I've seen my mom cry. I think I've seen my dad cry once.
Really?
Seeing a dad cry is a very
Insane.
powerful
Yeah.
thing.
Core memory
Yeah.
immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my mom, Yeah, first time I saw her cry was her like. We had been in America for probably like 4 or 5 years, and she was on the phone with family from back home.
Yeah.
Going, why the fuck did I marry this fucking?
Whoa,
And just sobbing.
heavy.
So yeah, she was in a rough place.
Yeah.
On that
Wow.
one. But I say that overall she's very tough. She doesn't really crack. So I saw a lot of that, and then just no tears for
Years.
probably
Long time.
since then.
Wow.
Wow. How many, years ago? This was years ago?
Huh?
Your mom cried years ago?
Yeah, when I was 5. So yeah, about like
5?
when I was 5. Yeah.
Well, you have
Whoa.
like the date. You had it like you knew when that was.
Oh yeah, because I remember the house we were in. I remember the
Yeah,
room
yeah.
and stuff.
The context of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, these things stay with
Yeah.
you, right? Like
Yeah.
a very core memory, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I say the reason I asked about Asians and like empathy and all that stuff. I mean, we were raised to be like sadness isn't really a emotion that you're kind of allowed to have in the strict
Oh yeah.
Chinese culture or
Yeah,
Asian
yeah.
culture, because it's like, well, stop fucking complaining.
Yeah.
And get and
Yeah.
Do
you're
something.
fucking crying. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Anger is very prevalent, and
Mhm.
happiness. Yeah,
Right.
that's there. But sadness for some reason, just crying's not very valid in
Yeah.
in
I feel like a lot of
culture.
sadness gets like translated into anger. Like a lot of
Yeah.
anger because it's like mass sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mhm.
Lots of
That's what
yelling
they say.
in my house.
Lots of yelling.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From everybody.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you think you're an
Yeah.
angry person?
Huh?
Do you think you're an angry person?
Am I an angry person? No.
I don't. Yeah.
I think I'm. I mean, there's certain. I'm not until like something just creeps inside, and
Yeah.
then I start realizing, oh, I'm almost losing control of like
That spiral.
not in a physical way, but I get
feel it.
like there once a little bit of anger trickles in, like logic stops
Oh yeah. You're
working.
clouded by your
Oh,
emotions.
man.
Yeah, and then I start just saying
Unraveling.
I'm a person to be like very. If I'm pissed off, I'll try to be very malicious or like with my
You're
words.
petty.
Yeah, very petty. I'm very
Yeah.
petty. Once I get
Wow.
there,
Hell yeah.
I can't imagine. That's crazy. You petty.
just give me
Give me some time.
Just get me
Alright.
there. Just get me there.
I don't think that's the reaction he was looking for. Wow, that's crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah. I don't like you. Please leave. I don't feel comfortable doing this. I was talking to Vic about this. I think the only real person to make me angry is my dad. Like,
Oh yeah.
I texted you about this. I was really losing it.
Well, parents
At a certain point.
they really, they have your number. They know how to push all your buttons.
Yeah.
And you also have like subconscious triggers with them too. So
What did
just
your
being-
dad do to push your button?
Oh
Raped
man,
him.
here it comes.
Sorry.
It's such a stupid. When I explain it, it's so stupid because it's like not a big deal, but because it's my dad. Wait, why are you yelling?
I don't know. I don't think you heard it.
I think we're putting
What'd you
ourselves in
say?
your shoes already. And I think that's what I am,
Yeah.
because I can imagine me doing something. Go ahead. I'm ready for whatever
What'd you
this
say? No, I'm curious.
I'm not. If I say it, I'm gonna
strangle
laugh.
you. Okay.
is. No, but you have to say it now.
You said, "What did your dad do to make you mad?" I said, "Raped him."
Oh yeah, he did that. No, that was cool. Are you glad that you were able to say that? That was a pretty cool.
I was kind of. I regretted it when I said it, and I was kind of hoping we could just like move past it.
Yeah,
You
that
made me say
now
it
you're
again.
a 2.
Yeah,
You're a
that's
2 on the
crazy.
impact
Kind of
scale.
bombed twice
A 2,
actually.
yeah.
That was
in
not
the
a good
penalty box
feeling.
for a few minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's what happened. Basically, my dad's visiting New York, and me. The context is he was gonna stay at my cousin's place, and he's married, and he lives in a 1-bedroom. Right?
Yeah.
He was gonna do 2 days there, and then 2 days here. And I have a girlfriend, long-term girlfriend. We have a 1-bedroom as well. It's gonna be him and his wife coming here, right? And it's gonna be 2 days each. And I was like thinking about it, and I was talking to some friends about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get him a hotel. I'm just gonna buy a hotel. I'll use my own money.
Yeah.
Not a big deal,
Yeah.
right? And I told him this. I was like, hey, I got a good deal on a hotel. Lie, but like you gotta lie about it. I got a good deal on a hotel. It's near our apartment. Like, just you can stay at my cousin's place, but then you can stay at my place.
Yeah.
Or at that hotel for
Yeah.
the last 2 days.
Yeah.
right?
Thoughtful.
Like, it's more comfortable for everybody. Like, you don't have to sleep on like my bed or like the floor or whatever. It's like you and your wife, like more comfortable.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, don't buy it yet. Let me talk to your cousin. I might be able to stay 4 nights there.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, why would you do that? I bought this already for you.
Yeah.
And then he was like, it's okay, I'll ask him. I'm like, no, I already bought. Literally, this back and forth happens.
Yeah.
He asked my cousin. My cousin, of course, is like a nice guy and was like, you can stay
Felt
with me and my
obliged.
wife. Right. You
Yeah.
can stay with me and my wife for the other 2 days.
Oh.
I got so mad because I was just like, I already bought this for you.
Why do you think he refused it?
He said, he was like, you don't have to spend that money. I'm like, it's not your money. I already
Yeah.
spent this. I have the money to pay for this.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm getting worked up thinking about it.
Which is like the
so
principle
annoying.
of money that he was.
Right.
Yes.
concerned.
And maybe a bit of pride too, I think.
For sure.
Something about
Like we can get through. We can live here. It's also a very, I think, Asian thing to like all bunk up together, kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a nightmare.
Yeah.
For sure. I think like I would be fine, but like my girlfriend, like she doesn't know my dad. It's just like it's just more comfortable for everybody. It's one bathroom here. You know what I mean?
And that turned
So.
into not a shouting match or anything, right? Like you didn't actually.
No, it was all over text.
Oh,
But it was like a lot of
okay.
like, don't buy it yet. And I was like, I already bought it. And it was like he kept repeating like, don't buy it. I'm like, dude, I already bought it.
So you already paid for it, and he
Yeah.
refused to stay at the hotel room you already booked.
Yes.
So your money just went out.
Oh, no, he eventually was just like, okay, I'll stay there.
Oh, okay.
Good.
So you
This
got
is-
it.
but like it was like
Hold
an
his arm.
hour of back and forth, and
Yeah.
this could have been 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So that like really pissed me off. Again, not like a huge deal, but like on paper, it's fine. But like who he is, just brought up a lot of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. This is similar to.
I was thinking it'd be a little more bad blood in there than.
No.
But that was.
I bought my dad a hotel.
He's just very annoying about every little thing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's like a whole lifetime of like triggers in that interaction.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I was like, yeah, you can stay at my place, because knowing I didn't want to deal with this whole interaction. And I was like, oh, might just easier. I should just let him stay here. It would've
Yeah.
been way easier.
I don't think so. If that is what set you off, then him
Yeah.
like sharing a bed with your girlfriend, that would have made you way madder. That would have made you so mad.
That's chill. We all
Wait,
know.
it
It's
was
one
gonna
love,
be
baby.
him and your girlfriend in the bed.
Yeah, and I'm with his new wife.
All right.
I've
One love,
seen,
baby. That's how family works. Bob Marley style. Just watch that movie.
I feel like I've seen my parents, both of them, cry a lot. But
Really?
I
A
feel like
lot?
my parents are very like, my family's very like emotional. They're very like temperamental and
Yeah.
like they make their emotions known.
So
Yeah.
does mine, but
Yeah.
they don't do the sad. They just
Really?
do all the other
Anger.
Anger's the big
I've
one.
seen my dad. I've seen my dad cry from anger. I've seen him. I've seen him cry from sadness one time when his sister died. Sorry, I'm
No. That's a good bit. Yeah, that's very funny.
And I've seen him cry at like The Bachelorette.
The TV
yeah.
show?
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. I've seen him cry at that too.
Speaking
So-
of crying at media, I had a friend, we were talking about crying, this dude friend. He doesn't think crying at media counts as crying.
Why?
I'm like,
That's interesting. Why?
because it's not like personal enough.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with this?
I think there's
It's not
something.
real crying.
There's something to it where I feel like I feel like I'm almost cheating when it's
Yeah.
happening. I'm working
Oh.
on something on this now, but it feels like in porn where when
Yeah.
you're coming to porn and the
Yeah.
real life stuff is just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel there's some sort of a connection
To crying.
there.
Yeah, it's like
'Cause-
simulated crying almost. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I won't I can't I've never come close to crying with any like family stuff. My grandfather passed
Yeah.
this year. Granted, we weren't close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Didn't cry.
nothing like it. The meter didn't move at all.
Wow.
Um,
The meter didn't move. When's the last time you cried?
Hell yeah, the Peter meter.
Yeah.
but I mean, I cried on the plane ride last week because I was watching Survivor. It was like a very sad.
Survivor?
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
that fucking gets me.
Yeah.
You know.
Man.
Yeah. That,
But what about like a person, like this is a real cry, you're just
Oof.
like doing your dishes and you're just like, oof.
Ooh, probably in therapy it pops up here and there. You know,
Wow.
we'll pull something
Yeah.
out.
Hmm.
So yeah, in therapy was, and that's even that's just kind of like that's like talking about something and bringing
Yeah,
it up,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, that's like very confusing sometimes what the trigger of that one
Right.
is. And then one thing like crying about like an actual thing that was going on in my life, aside from talking about it, was
Therapy counts.
I was like
therapy.
really liked this girl
Oof.
in like 2020, and then I was starting to get really freaking anxious. Like I thought about her like every second,
Ooh,
pretty much.
Yeah, I felt
And
that.
then I started kind of thinking of like just how much of a hold she was having over me, and the fact that she was like leaving at the end of the
Oh
month.
wow.
I was like,
It was like
I
an
started.
expiration date.
There was an expiration date on it,
Oof.
and I started to just freak out by like all the anxiety was coming from like whether she likes me and all these things, and I
Yeah, yeah,
started
yeah.
getting so upset at how insecure I was being and everything.
You're mad at how much you're thinking about her.
Yeah, and how distracting it all was,
Yeah.
and how
Yeah.
pointless it all was,
Wow.
and all that. Yeah, and then I
This is in
like
2020.
I was like, yeah,
You're due for a good cry.
Damn.
You're due for a good
Yeah.
doing the dishes and just letting it
because it
rip.
was the pandemic. Is what you're saying? Like it was.
No, it's just been 4 years, right? Since you had a
Oh
good cry.
no, 2020 was that cry, but
Okay.
I've had a cry earlier, like early January in a therapy session.
Right, right.
But aside from something that might be triggered in therapy and that,
Yeah.
no, nothing triggered from real life, like nothing,
Yeah.
nothing happening.
There's a thing where it's like as you get older, you're just like happier. Like old people are like generally pretty happy, and people don't talk about that. And I feel like that's what happens as we get older. It's just like that's not because I'm not sad. I just like life is pretty chill. It's more chill. It's more
Yeah.
like I know how to deal with feelings and like going through the motions of the routines and the Sisyphean of it all. All that stuff.
Yeah. Well, but again, I wonder if it's, I don't know.
just suppressing, just pushing it down.
I think I'm pushing it down. Yeah, when I was,
I think we do, and I think
yeah.
we calculate our emotions more so than we
Right.
feel them.
Mm.
I do. I feel like it's tied to being Asian.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah. Kind of emotionally stunted a little bit.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah.
to deal with it all.
I always felt like since my parents were so, like, they had such big, like, emotions and personalities that it didn't leave a lot of room for my emotions. I had to like press it down a lot.
You have to constantly like,
Yeah.
take care of them.
Because I always hear like other Asian kids with like their Asian parents, and they're like everything was so oppressed, even with their parents, everything was just kept inside. I never felt that. I always felt like there was so much of
It's
it.
too much,
There
yeah.
was no room for me. It was overwhelming.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's no good way for parents to express emotions.
Well, I mean, I think they.
It's all fucked.
Well, maybe they
We're
should have
fucked.
calculated theirs a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't think they.
Well, yeah, outbursts like can't. Those aren't healthy. Like
No.
watching parents scream at each other and say like unforgivable things to
Right.
each other.
Yeah.
That can't be the.
They're
That's not the
Children.
good.
Well, they're still together,
Yeah.
so it is forgivable. I have seen it. It works.
My parents are together in the physical sense.
Yeah.
You know.
Hell
but
yeah. Swag.
There is a freaking spiritual chasm
yeah,
between them. Live on different floors of the same house.
Oh.
So
Somebody told me that's like a thing that's like called
Yeah.
Asian divorce.
As
Yeah.
you get older.
Yeah, because they don't believe in like actual divorce.
Are your parents divorced?
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I got the real ass American divorce. Let's go.
Nice.
You're
Yeah,
living the
living
dream,
the dream, baby.
That's
dream
that's
white
like
life.
Asian progressivism. That's like white
Yeah.
kids having like that's like white parents having a trans kid. That's us like having divorced parents.
You're like,
It's like
That's a
whoa.
real divorce.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was the last time I saw my mom cry because she told me about it and she like really bawled.
Oh, that's sad.
And
yeah,
I
that's
had
tough.
to be like an emotional ground at that moment and just like trying to talk to her through it. And then I
Yeah.
remember we were in Las Vegas, kind of just hanging out.
Yeah,
we were
that's
walking around
funny.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas is a funny. It just
She
backdrops.
tells you while she's
around.
playing the
Yeah,
slots.
playing the
By
slots,
the way, your dad and I are getting divorced.
The fountain at the wind just going.
Yeah, yeah. What do I feel nothing?
The Bellagio or whatever.
Yeah, then I remember taking a shower and bawling my eyes out because she was
Yeah.
so sad.
Oh
sad.
man,
That's brutal.
that's bad.
Yeah, but it is what it is. She's happier now. We're all happier. It's all
Have y'all ever
good.
had a moment where you felt like you should have cried but didn't? There's one where I regret not crying because like senior year of high school, my grandma came over. She told me she had cancer. I did not cry,
Yeah.
and then I think I was just stunned.
Yeah.
I did not cry, and then I think she noticed that and was hurt that I did not like have an
told me
emotional
this.
response.
Why don't you fucking love me, dude? Yeah, it's so emotionally abusive.
Yeah, I was just like,
You have
whoa.
a fucked up family.
I mean, I'd have to see what your face is doing to see how
Yeah, you have cancer.
Because it's normal to be stunned. by
Yeah.
that. That's a very stunning thing.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that really, see, one of the emotions that is on firing at full throttle with Asians is guilt. So that's one thing that that guilt comes up too much in Asian culture. Of, you gotta feel bad because this is happening to me. And your grandma's like this, your grandpa's like that, and I think guilt is not a good motivator for why you should be crying, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should be true. You feeling a true sadness for whatever is whatever, And plus, if you couldn't cry, then you can't force yourself to cry. It's like
That's
the
almost
opposite
worse.
of how it
Yeah.
works.
That's true. Yeah, I'll just turn on Survivor and get it going.
That's why if you had the app, you could have been like, "Give me a sec."
But no, yeah, you're right. I've had friends pass away recently, and I wanted to feel bad, but I felt guilty because I couldn't force those emotions.
Yeah.
And I know I cared about them. It's just like I was watching all my friends, our mutual friends, grieve, and it was so intense for them, and I just could not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Vic meter wasn't going
It
off.
just doesn't move.
Yeah.
But I tried. I mean, I had people come over to commemorate a friend that died, but it's just I could not cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel it makes you feel like, oh, I look wrong optically with what this
and
looks,
also
right?
am I a bad person?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But even alone, I was like, fuck, man, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
Which is a funny way to phrase it. Feel nothing.
I didn't feel like I felt it. I didn't grieve as intensely as everybody else.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just you shouldn't, like you said, guilt. You shouldn't let it consume you, because then that's just another thing you have to deal with.
Yeah.
It is
Well,
what
but
it
I've been that's what I wouldn't say consume me, but has bothered me for a while. Starting with the funeral last year and stuff is that these things that you're accepted to be very sad about and supposed to be sad about, you don't feel sad.
Yeah.
There's a
And-
societal pressure also a little bit, I feel like, with that.
Right.
Cry. Yeah.
Because in a movie, that's where that character would be really sad.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, I'm supposed to be really sad, or something, right?
Do you guys remember after the Sandy Hook shooting or something? One of the dads came out and did an interview, and then conspiracy theorist was like, "Look at this guy. He's not sad at all. This obviously he's an actor."
Yeah.
When I saw that guy and he was just kind of normal talking, I really related to that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh yeah, he's probably sad, but he's just not.
But in a state of shock,
Yeah.
or something.
Are you guys big Buffy fans? Have y'all watched Buffy?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay, there's a great episode called The Body.
Uh-huh.
And you know how Buffy, her whole thing is fighting vampires and demons and shit?
Yeah.
This one episode, it's just her mom dies. That's it. There's nothing supernatural about it, and she finds her body, and it's just how a person deals with death in the moment. And it's just it's just quiet for most of the episode.
Oh wow.
And nothing supernatural happens, and she's just trying to figure out what to do, and it's just her going there shocked, but it's not this hysterical wailing that they depict in most movies. Oh my god, but it's her just Mom, are you okay? What's going on? And then she calls someone. She's like, hey, yeah, I think my mom is dead. It was just this very chill, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's the more normal way of people dealing with.
Yeah.
something
Right.
so shocking.
Yeah.
And
Things like that are very oddly realistic.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
you
Exactly.
feel you're that's these if without even explaining, you buy it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's because a real human reaction is very unpredictable
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
way, and abstract.
Right.
You know? So yeah. I like that.
Yeah. You should watch it. You can. It's
Yeah,
a standalone.
I think my mom's dead.
Bad way to
Alright.
put it. No, but yeah. People
All
really
right,
like
so
it.
that's sorry I took us here.
It's all right. I want
No, that
to
was
talk
interesting,
about talk
yeah.
about poker addiction. Now I'm feeling sad.
This happens a lot.
now
A lot
I'm
of
feeling
times we'll
sad.
have a guest, and then we'll ask them what do you want to talk about, and then they're like, I don't know, fucking breakups, and then we end up talking about something completely
Right.
different.
But
So
there-
it's not.
well,
It
you know.
is on par
I wouldn't. I
For the
didn't want to
course.
just get into.
It is
like,
interesting though.
No,
It is
poker.
interesting.
Like I didn't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
just
yeah.
start
Jump
off and
into
we're
it.
like, all right, we're talking about poker, and then it's
But
like
Yeah.
There
yeah.
is, I mean, relatedly, do you feel? I feel like this is the thing I've heard about a lot with addiction. When something we talked about with your video game addiction, dude, you're addicted to a lot of things. Kind of crazy. Anyway, we'll get into it.
It's a
That felt-
personality
Poker's a
type.
game. Poker's a
that
game.
felt so okay.
But do you think you were? And I think people would say they do for addiction. It's kind of like an escape and a way to like push things down, just like have an outlet to like focus your kind of feelings or not having to feel things.
An escape? No, I know what you mean. Like, there's
Yeah.
some people that like they do drugs because when they were a child they got like diddled like crazy or something.
Like great diddled like crazy.
Right, and they
That's
can't
too
handle the
much
trauma.
diddling.
Yeah.
Like Drake Bell, and
Sure.
that stuff. No, that's never. No, none of that. I just found I just find games that are very difficult, like difficult. Yet I have some level of competency to it, but not mastery
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
I find that to be incredibly
Exhilarating.
addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can continue to get there.
Right.
That's poker. It's because there's money being put up, that
Yeah.
triggers whatever that part is. When you
Right.
win money, that
The
that whole
reward system.
risk reward. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's very easy to explain for why that's addictive. But for
Yeah.
video games, it's more so I think the
grind.
challenge
Mm.
of it
Wow.
and the competency.
Oh, so those two things come from different places.
There's because poker has a level of skill to it. There's some overlap.
Yeah.
But the gambling part, the I wouldn't be able to put that on games.
You didn't feel like you're emotionally avoidant as you were falling into this deep pit of addiction. Sorry, putting it that
Emotionally
way.
avoidant.
Yeah,
No, I don't think so.
fascinating. Because I think people also do that with video games and stuff, where they're just like, I don't want to deal with the real world. I'm just gonna keep playing video games. You know,
Oh.
my cousin deals with that. Sorry, I blew up
Maybe.
the spot. Yeah,
Well, let's just say like video games took over in a big bad way really early on. Before I don't know, I
like
guess
for you or just like in general.
for me,
Yeah.
I guess already
Right after your mom
I had
cried.
Yeah,
already
Fire
like,
up the PC.
that PS1 going.
I saw my cousins play video games. I remember that would look so cool and so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
I
which
really
they
wanted
are.
to do that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be very overly psychoanalyze-y
Yeah.
to say that it came from my parents' struggles and that maybe leaked onto me. I think that might be, I don't know,
Far.
overdoing
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
possibly. But there did come a point where there was a cycle where in high school I was flunking. I was starting to really fail my classes.
Right.
And I needed to get back on it. And then I would find difficulty in whatever the homework was or the
Yeah.
test was. That was very overwhelming. And then playing video games was definitely something I could do to get away from that and
Right.
And be good at something and not be fucking a loser at something.
Degenerate, right? Which is
Yeah.
what you said on the last episode when we talked about video game addiction.
Yeah, what
which
did I
think
say?
was exactly that, and I was like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
sick. Not that
Oh.
it matters, but do you feel like you don't feel like it's the same way? Same thing with poker.
With poker, it's what's really. If I was really bad at poker, I would never. Then that'd be
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
But
Or
the-
would it though? Or would you be like, I could hack at this and
No, I think what hooks you into poker. Okay, so let me give you the background.
okay.
I got into poker when I was 17. I had
Uh-huh.
just pretty much dropped out of college at the time.
Yeah.
And my buddy, best buddy who I'm still buddies with now, he was huge into poker in high school, which I always felt was like a big bad thing. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to do that.
Sinning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that's. He was into smoking, drinking,
God, that's
poker,
so sick.
all that shit.
Just fucking
He was very
cards.
cool
so
and
cool.
breaking the rules early on.
Yeah.
What?
I was rebellious in a different way.
What ethnicity was he?
Indonesian.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Fit the description.
It tracks,
Yeah.
man. Asians, they gamble.
Yeah.
So then I figured, since my parents put such a huge weight on academia, and because I failed that, then life was, by their definition, over, and therefore in my eyes over. So I was like, all right, so I might as well do the degenerate stuff because there's nothing to lose anymore.
Wow.
It's like a self-destructive kind of thing. And then so I went and started playing poker through whatever money I had at it, and playing it a bit, lost money, but what really traps you is when you start picking up things that like, oh, actually I was right about this thing, right? Yeah. For example, for some reason you had a hunch that they actually have a hand that's weak, and then you're right about that once. It's a very exhilarating feeling, because that rightness got you money, and it was immediate,
right?
And then it also kind of triggers that part of you where you want to be good at something. So that's what started. That was like, oh, I can figure this game out.
You're also like good at reading people. Like that's the skill, which is kind of a cool skill.
It's a cool skill. But that's also exaggerated. Like people think like you look at someone's face and then they twitched or something, and they're like, "All right, I call," and then, "Oh, how'd you know?" That's bullshit. It's
is it more just like pattern recognition?
Yeah, it's mostly just one of the biggest things in poker for information on a not the pro level. I'm a very like from a scale of 1 to 10. I'm probably like a 3 or 4 skill level, but that gives me an idea of something, right? You look for like betting tells you something. When someone bets, they're saying, "Look, my hand is this good." And then you follow the story of the bets. They bet when the 3 cards came out and it was this, and then the story changed for some reason when this came out. And you try to piece it together. And then there's stuff you can look for, like that you start to look out for after playing a while. People say things that give away information. Like, people try to act really weak when they're strong, and people try to act really strong when they're weak.
And do you find that rewarding when you sort of like sift through that? Like,
you're still like reading people. This is like crazy.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean,
but that in poker, that seems secondary to just like recognizing what type of hand you are and the likelihood of it being like a winning hand.
Yes, so that's another level, because there's how good your hand is on a tier, I guess. Like if you have a pair, then it's reading them is important to find out, do they have a pair as well? If they do, is it weaker or stronger than yours? Do they have nothing? If they have nothing, then you shouldn't be betting, because you want them to bluff, or if they have something, then you want to trap them, so on and so forth.
Right? It sounds like a game of like convincing people too, in a way.
Oh, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, this game is so not for me. This is crazy. You be like a salesman. I don't want to do that.
The game of poker was very exciting. I can get better at it if I keep playing it, and I could make money off of it.
Yeah. You love shmoney. You're making that shmoney.
Well,
100% grind set.
Well, that's what. At the end of the day, you got to do something to make money. So I was like, well, this is great. If I could make money by doing this, I mean, what a lifestyle, right? I wouldn't have to do 9 to 5 or anything.
Right.
That year I got into poker, I lost like $10,000. I had stolen money from my mom's pocketbook and everything.
You stole money.
She had $10,000 in her pocket.
Pocketbook. It's like she'd come home from work. I'd take money out, and then, use that. And then,
did she find out ever?
She's never found out.
But
she suspected.
Yeah.
There was one time where I snuck into her room while she was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then I knew that she had money put in the dresser or something. So I took some, and I heard her coming back. And so I quickly put it in like my boxers.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh no, just
hanging out in your room."
Yeah. And then the money fell out of my boxers onto the floor.
This is such a sick.
And she goes, "Where'd that come from?" I go, "Oh, it must have fallen out of here." And I opened the dresser, and
must have fallen. Just right now. It must have fallen out.
Yeah. It was such a bad excuse.
I must have fallen out of your secret stash.
Yeah. So weird. Probably should get a better secret stash. You lock that shit down, Mom.
Do you get anything off of the thrill of playing, like the adrenaline rush of gambling?
Yeah.
Did you get any type of thrill from stealing from your mom? I mean, it's an earnest question. Was that also thrilling?
That is thrilling, but I didn't like that. Like that thrill wasn't something I sought. It was an unfortunate
kind of stressful
side effect of doing that. The thrill from poker is incredible.
Right.
Do you still play?
Yeah. So that's
when we
another
went
thing I
to
did.
Texas, you told me you went to like a little poker house.
I did.
Yeah.
So the boredom was a bit of a trigger for that. Boredom and proximity
Mm.
of a poker house, because the
Mm.
hotel I was staying at, there was a Texas card house
Yeah.
across the street.
Shit.
And I had only heard of that place before, and I was like, I literally have hours and hours and hours and
What is
hours
there
to kill.
do? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll go there and I'll put $200 down, and if I lose, then
Wow.
that's hilarious. That's it.
Yeah.
And then the worst thing would be to win money. So I played, and then that night I won $70, which was very exciting. Then I was like, well, I gotta come back the next night
Yeah, 'cause
then,
I
until
won.
I lose the 200.
Yeah.
Then the next night I came back and I won $1,300.
Oh my god.
And then the night after I came back, I won $800. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty good at this again. And so that's when it starts fucking with you, because then
Yeah.
you kind of.
Your ego gets in the way.
Yeah.
You feel competent.
Yes.
And you're like, I can just.
Well,
I can just keep
nowadays,
doing this.
back then, poker was destructive to my life in the sense of it would take all my money and I'd
Yeah.
lose it. I couldn't manage a bankroll. I had no savings
Right.
Yeah.
to manage the variance of a luck-based. It's a skill-based game, but there's a portion of luck to it.
Yeah.
And all things with luck-based, there's a variance time where no matter how good you are, you will have a downswing
Sure.
until you come back. Stocks
Yeah.
are like that too. You
Right.
might be making a really good investment, but there's a portion where
Eventually.
you
Yeah.
have to suffer the downfall until you come back up.
Right. Right.
Um,
Oh, so then sometimes you're like in a rut, and you're like, oh, I'll just. Eventually, it'll go back up.
yeah.
Oof.
Well, so now
This is crazy.
one thing that kept me away from doing stuff like that was comedy. Comedy was is able to keep me busy and so
Yeah.
challenging and interesting.
And
so I don't
time-consuming.
have to.
Yeah.
And time consuming, exactly. So when I was there, now I wasn't doing like I would sometimes drive into Houston for comedy at night,
Yeah.
but I was waiting. I was shooting a movie at the time, and I was waiting to be called on whatever, and there was
Yeah.
just days and nothing going on.
Yeah.
So then I would go now, just not having anything to do, and then the thought of like, well, I've been doing pretty well
Yeah.
on the tables,
Yeah.
so I might as well go back and do that, and that more money could be made from doing that.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. And then the next 2 times I went, I lost $200 each.
Oof.
Okay.
So overall, still up. And then
Yeah.
after that, I was like, I gotta stop it, because I
Yeah.
remember this being a very bad thing. And
Yeah.
it would in this era of my life, poker would be very destructive in the time it takes away from comedy,
Right.
rather than just
That's
the
your
money.
that's your main pursuit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you were like, I'm gonna be a professional poker player.
Yes.
Mm.
Wow.
And now poker is in the same vein of video games.
Yeah.
Mm.
Of like, I got to quit video games because I'm not doing comedy because
Right. It
of
takes
it.
Yeah.
away from
Yeah.
what you want
So,
to do.
yeah.
Really want to do.
All that said, this past week I was on the road, and
Let's go. Let's go. Hell yeah.
I was in I stayed at a hotel in Manchester, New Hampshire,
Uh-huh.
and I was looking at the maps, and I saw it said blah 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 poker room across the street from my hotel, and I was like,
oh, God is telling me to go.
I said to my buddy Taylor Yarish, who opens for me, I told him, I'm like, dude, there's a poker room. That's not a good thing. He's like, haha, right? Doesn't really know. And then I go on like Reddit to like look up the name of the poker room, and then people are like, yeah, that's like the softest game. Like it's
No.
easy to make money.
You're like, let's fucking go.
And then I was like, don't worry about that. I put my phone down, and I was like, I just gotta take a nap. And the moment I woke up from my nap, I was like, I'm gonna go.
Dude.
I put on my shoes and
Post
everything.
snap clarity. You're like,
My hands are
what?
getting like the excitement like
Feeling?
shakes,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's all you think about is excitement, and then as like you're approaching, you feel like you start, your pace increases because you want to get to the room faster. You want to feel the chips and hear
Yeah.
all that stuff.
It's all like it's like ASMR. It's like it's all part of the.
Yeah,
You
it's
do you
crazy.
do you didn't do online poker, did you?
I did
Oh wow, kind of a different game, or would you say it's similar?
kind of different.
Yeah.
Online is very more like. The great thing about live is people tend to play more hands or put more money in
Just keep going, yeah.
because it's slower.
yeah.
They're a little, you don't get a lot of opportunities to get in the pot. And online, there's just some people open 4 tables at once and
Yep.
just play.
My dad used to do that.
Yeah.
Really?
So there's no emotional investment in any of these, and so they play They become your dad became like an AI in a
Yep.
sense. When I see this
Yep.
hand, I'll play. When I see this, I'll fold.
Right.
Da 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 da.
Yeah.
He was one of the first people I ever saw with 2 monitors. And he was just like back in the day when they were like boxy ass monitors. And he would
Was
just
he a winning
fucking-
player?
What's up?
Was he killing it?
I don't know. He would do it a lot,
Yeah.
but he also was in a lot of debt. So
Yeah.
probably not.
Probably wasn't doing great.
Probably
His son had to
not
rent him a
that
hotel.
Yeah. Not that
Did you
great.
see anybody like ruin their lives when you were really in the
Ooh.
poker community?
Ruin. Yeah. There was a guy at this poker room. And this was when I was like 18, 17. There was a poker room at the basement of a Chinese restaurant in Queens.
Classic.
Oh, nice.
And it was just shady stuff. It was like the poker table here, another poker table there, and the other
Yeah.
poker table was for people to line up stuff to snort.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
They're like betting on drugs?
No, they're just
No.
doing drugs down there.
Okay.
snorting drugs.
But
that's kinda cool.
yeah.
And then this one guy, he was like my age, and then he lost, and then he borrowed money from the house from these
Whoa.
gangsters.
Wow.
They love
And
that
that-
shit. It's like, of course.
And then they call the juice, I think, is how much the interest, and it's like it was something crazy, like
Yeah.
30%
Yeah, of
per
course.
whatever.
The
whatever.
juice.
Of course.
And after a while, every time he was going there, he was just paying off exactly what the percentage was, and he was just
Wow.
buried in whatever that debt
Yeah.
was for every time I saw him.
Did you see a lot of sketchy stuff as you were growing up playing illegal poker?
Just that, and then
Yeah.
for certain personality types, it introduces you to the world of even sketchier things. Like the
Yeah.
guy who introduced me,
Yeah.
he ended up getting addicted to heroin.
Whoa.
Because of that. Yeah, because the dealer got him. That the dealer for the cards was also a dealer of drugs,
Heroin.
Yeah.
Whoa.
and then got him into
Double
stuff like
entendre.
that.
Whoa.
Comedy is not that far removed from that scene.
True.
Yeah, right. Because
Mm.
that's kind of what introduced me to like sketchier stuff. Was like just being in these dive bars in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And now
yeah.
people selling drugs is like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right in
People
front of
doing
you.
coke.
Right. Just
Yeah.
all around you.
It all became very normalized.
You didn't dabble in any of those drugs, did you? Growing up?
No.
Okay.
No.
See,
There was
I'm trying to
no.
I'm trying to be a pro here. I'm trying to be professional.
Yeah, what's
Can't ruin my
narc
life.
art over here?
Yeah.
You didn't do
No,
any
I'm
of those
saying.
drugs, did you?
You're career oriented.
Yeah, I think I'm. Whatever I want to do, I want to be really good at it.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, that
I-
explains my addiction for video games and poker.
Right.
My dad did not. My dad loves poker, and my family plays poker at every like family gathering.
Yeah.
My dad does not let me sit in or like watch or anything, even as a
Wow.
kid, because he knows that he has a very addictive personality,
Yeah.
and he's betting that I also have it.
Betting.
And the guy who introduced him to gambling fucked up his life and his kid's life and everything.
Wow.
And so, but my dad is right. Like I do have that in me, because like I'm the same way. Like
Dog.
with comedy or with like like just little hobbies that I find rewarding, I
Yeah.
get like
Obsessive,
obsessed.
yeah.
What's
think
the
so
most
too.
what's the most like addicted to something you've been?
Mm.
You said tennis for a while. right?
Tennis. Like I was like delusional. I was like 14. I started at 14. I was like, I'm gonna go pro, and I really took a shot. Like all my
Yeah.
time was dedicated to tennis, and
That's a very like teenage thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
To be like,
comedy
this is
was
it.
kind of the thing after that,
Yeah.
and it's just like from the get go, it's 100%. I'm going all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same thing. I need to be good at things.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Look where you are. Pro comic right
Come on
here.
the pod. Yeah.
Yeah.
we have this.
You
But-
should have done tennis.
yeah.
My uncle, he just died, but he was the one who introduced my dad
Should I
to
cry?
like gambling, and he got into so much debt that he like took loans out in like his kids' names.
Oh my
and they were young, like he used like their
God.
social security number and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it like fucked up their lives. They couldn't like as kids they were already like ruined financially.
Dude.
That's
brutal.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So
I-
that's
My dad did
that's
not
where
do that.
that's where
Thank
their
God.
mom's secret stash was. It was in their it was in their social security and stuff.
It
you can do that. You can
fucks
just take
you
out
up.
money.
I don't know
You
what he
make-
did.
You make terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
For
I
sure.
had I had online poker. I had already my bank account was already 0.
Wow.
And I saw a tournament for like whatever,
Oh, man.
$50.
I love this.
And I knew I had overdraft protection in my bank. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, I could deposit and they'll charge me the overdraft money, but once I win this, it'll make up for,
They'll make up for-
the
Wow.
whole thing. That's
Yeah.
the way it started. My brain started
Yeah.
going. Luckily, it declined.
Capitalism works. We need this shit. We need banks. This shit works. It helps people.
Dude.
No, yeah, my dad
Brutal.
it got him into like make money quick schemes because he's like, I gotta fucking make money. So he started buying. This is one of his last. He did a bunch of shit, but this is one of his last ditch efforts to make money. He bought up the stock of Blockbuster like DVDs and started like selling them online to be like, I gotta make money. I gotta fucking
He was
make
buying
Holy
like
shit.
DVDs
money for cheap, like in bulk. Yeah, because they were closing.
Right.
Yeah, so he's like, I will sell them for
Well,
way more
actually,
money.
No, that's actually pretty smart. Yeah.
He
that's
has
not
a
bad.
shit ton of DVDs still. That
Oh, they
the
didn't sell,
money is
huh?
like they cost nothing now. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. That was the reason why Blockbuster was going out of business.
Wait, he
Yeah,
did this-
exactly. The DVD
He
Yeah.
did
era is
this
over.
recently,
No, this was like years ago when he was like in the depths.
but
of
DVD
his
was
debt.
way out by then.
Basically.
Wow.
It was like, well, it was on the way out.
Yeah.
I think he made a decent amount of money, but it was on the point of just like now he's again has way more stock than he can ever. He's literally just doing what Blockbuster's doing and trying to sell them off.
Gotta rent them.
Yeah, trying to rent them. Yeah, pretty sad, but
Yeah.
yeah, it'll make you strap for money real fast, and you're like
Yeah.
desperate to
Yeah,
feed this
man.
addiction. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what, you know,
Do you have a rock bottom for poker addiction?
rock bottom.
Mhm.
That's pretty. I mean, stealing from parents
Parents.
is pretty. I feel like
Just
I started
from your
rock
mom
bottom.
or your dad too?
It was a combined because
Yeah, yeah.
they work in the same
Oh,
thing. So
got
they
it.
would
that a
all
joint
together.
account in the cabinet.
Yeah, pretty much. Just cash all the time.
That's chill.
Um,
Gangster.
and then
Do you want to pay it back
yeah.
one day?
I don't.
No,
you know,
it's fine.
Well, they
They're
don't
fine.
know.
They're
they don't
doing
know
great.
about it, so there's nothing to
It's
pay
also
back.
part of your,
No
your
harm, no
money,
foul.
because
Huh?
you're their kid.
yeah, exactly. I earned it. You know, I deserve it.
Trying to help you out mentally.
Yeah, I do think part of I do want to give it back one day without telling them.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
just buy them. I have this fantasy of if this whole career works out,
yeah.
Yeah.
comedy, to buy them a car or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Maybe you can
just be like, trust me, this is paying back something.
maybe you can go back to Houston, and go to that poker house, win it back then.
You really
Be like
fanning
one
the
big
flames.
thing. This is for my parents.
Well, I
This
remember
is
you were
it.
telling me that they weren't that good. They weren't that cracked. Like when you were there, you felt like you had more experience than them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were players there. So I walked in going, I'm really bad at poker. That's why I had such a bad year when I was 17, 18.
Right.
So I'll just come in and lose this, or I'll play very tight. That's where you don't try to bet too much.
Yep.
You
Just
wait till you have a
call
good
in.
hand.
Yeah.
And when you have a good
Right.
hand, hopefully everyone else's action will pay you off.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so the first 2-3 nights I did that, it worked really well because the players at my table were very like loose. They mostly didn't know what they were doing, and that's how you get paid off when you're playing tight.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
People who are just very like explosive and
Loosey-goosey,
just
yeah.
trying to bluff too much,
Yeah.
you know. And then
Fascinating.
then it started. The muscle memory started triggering back of like, oh, I know what this player is. I think I can figure out what he's playing. And then
Dude, that's so cool. You're talking about like that's sick. That you just like unlocked a power that you had. That's so cool. That's awesome.
I've played a lot of
It's
it.
like an anime. Yeah.
And so that's where that's where I was like, okay, the bad players there I'm better than.
Right.
There were sharks there. There were good people that were really good. That like, I'll try to explain it without too much like getting you too bogged down or
Yeah,
being too
yeah.
technical. But I had a hand. I had 6-4
Mm-hmm.
suited. Doesn't matter if it's suited or not. And I was like up against one guy, and he raised before the flop, and I called. And so we're going in, and the flop 3 cards came out, and it was 6-6 king.
Oh.
So I have trip sixes.
Yeah.
It's a great hand.
Yeah.
I'm certainly ahead.
Yeah.
And so I think there was some betting there. I think I bet and he called.
Yeah.
And the turn comes and a 4 shows up.
Mm.
So now I have a full house. I have 3 6s and
Wow.
a pair of 4s.
Nice.
And so I don't remember if I bet or what again, but I think I bet again. And then he calls again. And then the river comes and it's another 6.
Mm.
Oh shit.
So I have quad 6s. There's
Jesus.
no hand anyone can have that can beat me.
Beat this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bet big. I bet like $250.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that guy calls.
Whoa.
You're
He
like,
calls and he flips and he goes, "You got quads?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, you're good." And he flips over pocket kings. So
Okay.
he flopped an unbelievably good hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the river and had me in the flop and the turn, and I got lucky at the last card. The last
Yeah.
card was the only time I was ahead.
Yeah.
But he had the wherewithal, the understanding to know that
Hold on, yeah.
he should just call 250.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
The
only,
only
one
one
hand
hand, yep.
that beats him.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's how he knew. Yeah.
So he did. And I told him, I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that you lost, even though he lost $700 that
Yeah,
hand,
yeah.
he lost the minimum that he
Yeah.
could have lost.
Yeah.
Because I would have put my fucking
Life.
my life in there,
Right.
and anyone else at the table would have. And I was like,
Right.
oh, so there's people here that are
Know
really
exactly-
Wow.
good.
Yeah.
That can
Yeah.
kind of suss that stuff out.
Is that like part of the skill, like knowing what hands are gonna pop up, or like that shit, like the statistics of like, oh, this hand, you have this hand, like he probably has this hand, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but that you learn that in the
That's-
first
that's what I figure.
month or two.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just been a while for you to, or you just didn't know it as well, or like what
That
you,
doesn't go away. Like you just
Okay.
know, like, 2 pair is hard to hit,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So when you get 2 pair, then trips is harder than that,
Right.
and then straight is harder than flush. And so
Yeah. I guess if you think
Yeah.
about it enough, it's like it makes sense. Like if you think about what cards are in a deck or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what beats what. In my head, I just feel like if I had like trips, I'd be like, well, that seems pretty crazy. That's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
And then
and you'd be
so-
right.
Yeah.
Because after you play 10,000 hands,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
you realize trips comes up X amount of times.
Right.
It's not common.
Right.
Yeah.
And the amount of times you get a full house is less than that. And the quads,
Mhm.
I can count. I probably had quads in my entire life 3 times probably. That was maybe the
Wow.
3rd time
Wow,
that
wow.
I've played out of 10,000 hands.
Wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So for him to go
Yeah. I
to,
know
to,
exactly.
to just call on this almost like a cosmic
Right.
Yeah.
occurrence is
Right.
insane.
Yeah.
Um,
How stoked were you? I bet you're.
oh,
that
I'm still
sounds-
thrilled.
yeah.
But there was a part of me that's like, I could have won. If he was just a little worse, I would have won even more.
Right.
Which is
Yeah.
also the toxic thing about poker.
Yeah.
Your wins are never big
Good
enough,
Oh,
and your losses always feel unballivably bad.
Bad.
that's how I
Yeah.
feel about comedy. Truthfully.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's exactly a great analogy.
I did a show in Houston, and it went fine. It went well. And then I walked out. I was like defeated because like one tag I was trying didn't work.
Yeah.
And my friend Eddie, you know Eddie,
Yep.
he was like, every other comic on that lineup would have been stoked to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
you
to do
set,
well.
and then
Yeah.
you're by far the most disappointed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
we're
you get
makes
stuck in
sense.
like the bigger picture a little bit,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It's very human because that's how you get better. Like you have
Yeah.
to sort of have that sort of critical. Like yeah, it's good, but like it could be better.
God, that story has me amped. Oh God, do you ever
makes me
follow
wanna-
like I follow like poker accounts on Instagram, and then like it's just
Like
a guy,
Wolfgang,
huh?
the guy with the mudkip.
What's the mud kit?
He has a
Oh.
Pokemon.
Yeah,
a
there's a
card
Pokemon
It might
collector.
be, yeah, it might be. But then I'm watching him play, and
What a
then I'm
nerd.
watching like these like it gets me. I feel like I'm playing.
Yeah.
Like whenever they reveal all the cards, I'm like, oh fuck.
It's it is a game of a lot of tension, which
Yeah.
is really cool.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah,
Love
and it's
You love it. Just be a
It really
poker
is.
player.
like if I got if I got lucky enough, and
Yeah.
you need some luck in this. If I got lucky enough when I was 17 or 18, this comedy thing would be goodbye.
Done.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think I had the skill enough. Like if I accrued a bankroll, I would have continued probably getting better at it
Yeah.
and had some level of discipline at some point. Hopefully,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe not, because I didn't learn discipline until 21.
Sure.
It took all the fucking getting my ass fucked
Yeah,
from
yeah.
17 to 20
Right.
to really figure out discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe not, but there's a world where like you put my brain in that kid now, and
Yeah.
then if I hit a lucky streak
Oof.
at that time, I would only have done poker and not
Right.
Do people like professional poker players have like a career? Like they just like forever are good at poker, or I feel like there's a high turnover rate of like good poker players?
There's people that stay good forever.
Wow.
And there's people that are very good, but they get themselves in trouble because you need to pace yourself on which stakes you play, and the same person that plays poker probably has this penchant for just risk taking.
Yeah.
So there's this guy right now, Tom Dwan.
Mm-hmm.
He's like known as like he's kind of like, what's a good analogy? He's just like the Steph Curry of poker. He's just he's so crazy with the way he plays.
Yeah.
And very smart and brilliant about this stuff. But he's known right now to be owing like tens to maybe $20 million to people all around Vegas.
Whoa.
Even though he's a legend. He's an absolute goat.
How does that
poker
happen to get so in debt?
You go there's these games in China that are like, the stakes are like, the blind is maybe something crazy, 10,000, 20,000, something crazy.
Right.
And you could lose millions at a time.
Wow.
And he'll borrow and probably da-da-da-da.
But if you're that good, it sounds like if you're $10 million in debt from poker, you're not that good. You know what I mean?
Well, the games are just so big that like when you lose, you
lose one, you
big.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Lose big.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to prepare for the luck aspect
Yeah.
of when things go bad.
Would you say it's very lucky? It's a very lucky game.
Yes.
Okay.
It's more skill than luck.
You think it's like 60-40?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the part that's hard to explain, is like that people are like, well, it's
When your
they
parents
think
are
it's
telling you
pure
to stop,
gambling.
it's hard to explain.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's the worst thing, is when you are in the midst of the addiction of
Yeah.
poker
Yeah.
and you're trying to explain it, and they're like, okay.
It sounds like
It's
addiction.
yeah, it's like
I
a guy
can stop
trying to
whenever I want.
Yeah. It's only 40% luck. 40%.
Alcoholism is a skill. Kind of is.
Yeah, it's hard to convince people,
Right.
and I don't blame them. It really shouldn't. It's just
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not entirely convinced that 60-40. So I'm like at a point you're like
you think it's
reading-
more luck.
I think it's a lot of psychology, like behavioral psychology, that is very faulty. Like people are not perfect with it.
Oh.
And that's
People are
like, it's
not
not
perfect?
necessarily like it's not necessarily luck, but I feel like people aren't as keen into like it's a lot of just reading people, which I feel like is risky.
Wait, that would be a skill aspect, wouldn't it be?
I guess. But
Yeah. That would be the skill aspect.
When you
Reading people?
successfully
Yeah.
bluff someone,
Yeah.
there's no luck involved in that.
Okay.
Maybe the luck aspect is maybe I'm 70% sure
Yeah.
he doesn't have the right hand, so I'm going to bluff him.
right.
But yeah, you can. That's what separates the greats is from everyone else, is like when someone's really understanding like how to read somebody.
Yeah.
Or when someone's weak or whatever, then you literally the cards don't matter. You just put this, you win the pot. You didn't have to risk.
It feels so like mystical almost. Like to read on that level is crazy to me. Yeah,
I will
that's
say
why,
this.
That's why I'm like, whoa.
I know that there's a lot of skill involved because when I play, I'm like, oh, I'm bad at this.
Yeah.
There's no part of me that's like, oh, I'm unlucky. I'm like, oh, I'm not
losing
smart.
a lot of money.
yeah, I'm bad.
I think I've never played poker. I think I played it maybe once.
I've played like online.
Avoid
I've
it.
played a few times with friends,
Yeah.
but I'm not like.
Here's
good
the
at
one
it
thing
at
I'll
all.
say. This is like, I guess, the last argument I'll make about the skill versus luck aspect.
Yeah,
which
let's make this a.
maybe we'll explain
debate.
it. If you play well enough, you can put yourself in positions where the gambles that you do take, you are favored, but you don't always win, and that's where the luck aspect. So there are a lot of times where all the chips go in, and you are a 70% favorite, and they're a 30% favorite. In the world of investment, that's a great investment.
Right.
You roll a 10-sided die,
Right.
Yeah.
and they imagine like 1 to 7.
Yeah.
I give you 50. You give me $50, and then 8 to 10, the other way.
Yeah.
Right. You should, even if you lose 10 times in a row, you should continue taking that
Right.
proposition.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
I'm just
So-
imagining Peter saying this to his wife at 4 a.m. in the morning. In the world of investment, this wasn't good.
My hair is like sticking up and shit.
We're almost homeless. We are getting evicted tomorrow. No, but you don't get it. Like statistically.
Yes.
This is a good investment.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
there's that's.
But even in
That's
the
what I
things that you said, there's skill not just in like playing the hands or reading people, but also just managing your pot, whatever, or like knowing when to play conservative or when to be aggressive. There's a lot of
Yeah.
I like really can't wrap my head around it because I'm so stupid. I probably be bad at poker.
No, you're just unlucky.
I'm unlucky.
You're just unlucky to be that
Well, you
stupid.
just haven't played. If you literally play,
probably get it.
all the mysticism will go away
Right.
within a couple games.
Right, and I think I would love it because I do love like a board game, and I love like a card game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about your poker addiction is it doesn't seem like you are addicted to gambling. That's
Yeah.
not the root of it. You love the
Interesting.
gamey aspect of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't feel like I feel like gambling addicted people they love the thrill of betting everything. Like,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Like
Yeah.
we won't
Yeah.
catch you at like a horse race.
No, I think those are so dumb. Those
Well,
are
I
so
mean, you know,
Okay.
Wait,
60-40.
dumb. Wait a minute.
If you really break down the horse.
No,
Are
I'm
you
not.
a horse
I'm not a
racer?
horse race guy.
Horse race
my
guy.
my uncle on my mom's side though is big horse race guy.
Wow.
Yeah. To the point where like the family just sort of has accepted that this just he's not gonna overcome that. Like
That is interesting.
he lives with my grandma and sometimes I'll come over. I'm like, oh, where is Uncle? And then she's like, he's at the track.
Oh,
That's
man.
great. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a different gambling addiction versus poker addiction. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Very different.
Yeah.
Huh.
Both of them,
Are
wear
awesome. They
wear
feel-
down on the family. And
Yeah.
So you just don't have a family, and you can gamble your life away, and it's fine.
I like
Who
sports
cares?
gambling though. It is like it's the extra seasoning to sports.
yeah. So I'll
Yeah.
throw a bet on sports rarely, but
Yeah.
just so I can actually be interested in
Yeah,
like, a
stakes are
certain
higher.
Yeah, yeah.
game. Yeah.
I do that.
I've heard that people that's starting to wear off to people who actually do it a lot. It's just like not as exciting as anymore because it's like
Yeah.
it's like regulated now. It's
Yeah.
like, eh.
I feel like the more I do it, the bigger I have to bet to feel anything.
Yeah.
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 That's an addiction.
So,
Yeah.
So now I
little
haven't.
stressed about
I'm
that.
not at the point where I'm betting bigger amounts, but now I'm doing like bigger parlays. So I'll bet
Right.
the same amount, but I'm like, let's make this a little crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever
Do you guys
cry-
feel that in your hands? Like you get like that. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like
No,
my palms are getting
I'm
sweaty.
I'm
thinking about
Uncut
it.
Gems. I'm like, I want to watch that movie. 'Cause
Oh
that,
yeah.
movie's sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's pretty sick. You ever
And it-
cried from playing poker?
Damn, I was about to ask the same question,
Let's go.
dude.
Let's go.
Never cried, but
Never cried.
I have lost just a
God.
bunch.
What's the
and
most
then
you've lost?
gone home. I guess in one day, never like recent, like a month ago,
shit.
I lost 600.
Oh, wow.
From because I was going to be in Atlantic City for a show, so I
Right.
decided to go
You gotta go.
way earlier
Yeah.
than I needed to
Yeah.
just to play all day.
Yeah.
And I started with 200, and then it became I had to keep buying in until I had 600, and then I had one back like 600 or 700,
Yeah.
and then within the last 30 minutes of game time of me playing at the table, I lost it all to like
Oof.
something,
Ugh.
and
Hurts me to $600.
and that's and then the feeling of that, and then going to do a show or
Oh.
whatever. It's terrible.
Did you talk about it? You're like,
No,
just
I didn't talk
lost
about it.
I would immediately be like, yeah, this is.
But-
I'm gonna go.
There were other comedians on the show, like Julia Kastner from New York Comedy Club.
Mhm.
I was talking with her, and she goes, "It's funny to come in early to do that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny to come in early to lose money."
And then do your actual
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
Do you think other audience members there also just came from losing a bunch of money?
For
Probably.
sure.
Probably,
I remember
right.
trying to open early, like that way, a couple
Yeah.
times, and it's never worked.
No.
Where I'm like, either they're not there or they are there, and this is just not. It's too soon. You can't.
Yeah.
Doesn't make them feel better when
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah, at
That's
least you didn't
wild.
have to pay for the comedy show. They did. Damn.
That's rough.
I love
Can't imagine
Gambling.
gambling.
the thrill.
The thrill, the rush of it. Like talking about this has me more like invested. Like we've
you're
had
literally
we've
worked
had
up.
guests talk about abortion and divorce.
You ever bet
Nothing
on whether an
compares.
abortion's gonna work or not?
Yo, new bets unlocked.
Yeah, let's do a parlay. Get
Yeah.
3 pregnant women.
Yeah. different points of their abortion.
yeah.
How old the baby is? Will they die? Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the idea of losing money, like in any aspect of. That's why I can't imagine betting.
No one does.
Yeah.
The feeling of winning money
Yeah.
is is what really
think it does it for
sets
me.
you off.
Because it like
Have you ever?
stresses me. Yeah, I dabbled in stocks,
Yeah.
but like I made money from stocks because I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about stocks. But it doesn't make me feel good. I'm just like, man, I just like risked that, the stress of that, and like had some money on the line, and just like this could have been bad. Like those are the thoughts that come in my head.
Yes. Yes.
I
yes,
like
yes.
the stress of it. It goes back to
Hate
what we
it.
were talking about earlier. It's
Hate it.
like I feel something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like whenever I win, it feels good. Whenever I lose, it feels bad. But it's like
You
at
feel
least
something.
I'm feeling
Yeah.
something.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
There's a moment when you, if I have pocket aces or something, and like every vessel in my body is being filled with whatever it is,
Joy.
oxygen, or
Yeah.
the blood cells are
Cum.
just going over.
Yeah.
Extra cum
extra
in my
cum.
body. And
Bursts
you
through
can
everywhere.
you have to watch your hands. It will literally shake
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
you bring your chips in.
Yeah.
Take it
Oh,
back.
whoa, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I love that psychosomatic response to
Yeah.
things that are so exciting. Ooh, that's cool. I love it.
Do you have any tips for like not showing your hand? You know,
Like when you shake.
not literally like showing your hand, but like how do you stay cool? How do you present
It's
yourself?
hard. Like you only through time you'll be able to control that a little more. One thing one thing beginners do a lot is talk too much.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing you'll be surprised at what you say gives away
Mm.
a lot of stuff. Like if someone bets against me
Yeah.
an amount and then they say something, if they go, "Oh, I got to leave soon anyways." Bang.
Yeah.
They're very strong.
Wow.
They made a declarative speech that was defeatist in its in the way it was played.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He wants you to put money in. He wants you to think he has nothing.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm about to, this is chill, whatever. But then it's like, no,
But you're saying like
definitely.
inexperienced guys, they're doing like crowd work at the table. They're like, so what do you do?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now talking to each other like conversationally, that's good. Like I think really good players do that because
Does
they
that
want to
happen? Just like, hey,
loosen
how's it
people
going?
up.
How's
Yeah.
life? Wow.
Because they could they're running the game. It's like script. They
Yeah.
like know what to play, and, like
Robots.
what to look out for.
Maybe. I think they want to. It's just it can be pretty dull. Everyone's just quiet and all the whole time. But I think by building some sort of a rapport, maybe they'll feel some sort of like. Maybe they'll let you off easy when they have a really good hand.
It's all psychological warfare.
There's so much. It's like it can be pretty exhausting.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I'd be a sucker for that. They started talking to me. I'm like, oh, he likes
Oh
me.
yeah.
Yeah, they just okay. We should play poker, Vic.
Hey, look at my hand.
We should play poker, Vic. Yeah, damn. Do you have any advice on someone who wants to get addicted to poker?
So you seem like a, pretty, what's it called?
Well adjusted.
Risk-averse.
Well adjusted. Yep.
Yeah.
Clean cut.
Very risk averse.
Guy.
Yeah, very square person.
Have you ever had any kind of something of self-destructive nature?
Not really. I'm a pretty boring person. When you're talking about like this excitement of like having stakes and like the adrenaline of all this and like psychosomatic feeling, I really
Yeah.
do feel like I get a lot of that playing soccer. Like there's no money on the line, but like it probably is tapping into like the human like warrior aspect, like the tribal warrior aspect of humans. Like
Yeah.
that really taps in for me. And I'm
Yeah.
like fucking locked in on field, just like running around. Like, oh, I feel it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I don't really have any vices. I'm a good boy.
And you're pretty good at it, which
It's a lot
probably
of,
right.
What's up?
You're probably pretty good. at
Soccer?
it, yeah.
I'm okay.
It's pretty good.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I think I'm competent, but I never had proper coaching growing up, so it doesn't matter. But it's just so fun to run around and kick a ball, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I thought about this. Don't really have any vices, really.
Do you
No
feel
one-
like there's
pretty
something
boring guy.
simmering in there? Maybe it just hasn't manifested.
I think what happens is I don't. Maybe.
I want there to be something wrong with you.
I think there probably is something
Something'll
wrong with me. I
happen.
just don't recognize there's something wrong with me.
And
That's conversations for the therapist.
Do you have any uncomfortable fetishes, like something
not
sexual that's
really.
weird?
Well, the thing is, I feel like everything's so normalized that like a fetish isn't really a fetish. I guess a kink isn't really a kink.
So what would be the?
Oh, we're doing this? Let's go.
Give me something.
Give you something?
Yeah.
Mm,
Can't be us being degenerates and then you're like, oh, you know,
yeah.
soccer sometimes.
Soccer sometimes. The porn thing. Let's see. I used to. I mean, I still do. I guess I love like a POV. I love like a jerking off instruction sometimes.
Jerking off instructions.
JOI.
You like the instructions?
Oh,
A little bit, yeah, sometimes.
Oh, there.
But is that like that's not that weird though?
is
I
it
feel
gay if you watch a POV and it's just a guy jerking off? Like your POV.
Yeah,
of,
do what I do.
Oh.
you're jerking off too.
But that's just coaching.
Coaching. Yeah.
I just want to be better at it. And I've learned some tricks. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much.
Put on a video of a
trick.
guy.
But yeah.
who's the point of view of a guy jerking off.
Yeah.
And you're jerking off.
That would be
Right.
definitively gay. Yeah, yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Well, you put
Shit,
your body
it might be gay.
I mean, like, not attributing like positive or negative. That would be gay by definition.
Why?
Well, porn is gay in a
Jacking
way.
off to a guy, jacking off, telling you how
Not-
to jack off.
to a guy, but of.
A guy.
Okay, we're really getting into the semantics.
But no, I think we're bringing this up. This is why sexuality is so weird, right? It's like none of
Yeah.
it really makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you're watching porn, you're also watching the guy. Like straight porn, you're also watching the dude. It's not like, and it is a little gay
Yeah. Like
by
if
definition.
on the spectrum, that would fall on the gayer side.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
one, the solo guy or the? Which
Like
one?
jacking off to a guy, the gay JOI.
Stop saying two. It's
What?
not two. Okay.
Is there a difference?
When I do it, it's a,
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's of.
I'm
it's
jacking of her.
okay.
Jacking off of her.
Well, I
Right.
think there's a. Let me try to
Podcast
justify
really
this.
devolved. Really analyzing.
I like the
Interesting
arc of this
aspects.
podcast.
Yeah,
We
oh my
started.
God.
Usually it's the opposite. We started insanely deep, and then
Right,
got into
now
poker
we-
addiction, the crux of it. Then got to casual jacking off.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Have you
Got
seen
it.
my
I mean, that's
special?
what every dude podcast is. It's about jacking off.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think, yeah, I think if it's a point of view of and you're watching a different guy facing you and he's jerking off, I think that's definitely gay.
Oh, okay.
But there's room for ambiguity.
Yeah.
When you're you're literally the eyes of the person
With
jerking off.
yeah, with the dick. Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Which to be fair,
I
I'm
can
not
see-
doing. That's not what I'm doing. But now I got some ideas. It sounds kind of
Art
interesting.
jacks off to our podcast. So it
That's
gets
my
these out
vice.
so
Is that a
fast.
vice?
So JOI means that they're teaching you how to
They're like keep
What's
going.
JOI stand for?
What?
jerk off
Instruction.
instruction. Okay.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
keep going, like I'm gonna count you down. That's a big thing. Counting down.
Oh,
Like
and
don't come just yet. That kind of, it's like edging.
Okay.
Right,
and you like
right.
that.
Sometimes.
Does it but does it make you feel good? Like make you feel better than like the other?
It feels like more intimate for sure. Because they're
Yeah.
like staring at the camera at you, talking to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So you feel more of an emotional connection to it or like
Maybe not emotional connection, but it feels like intense. Like it feels
Okay.
more.
Do
I
you-
don't know if it's emotions, but it's something like
you, like,
more.
come harder from doing it?
You can, because also you're edging. I think
Do
it's all.
you?
it's
Do
all
you
part of it.
Art? Do you?
Do I? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can.
You can't.
Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it works.
Keep giving me the answers that just somehow they feel like diplomatic and just like politician.
Okay, yes, they do.
I
They
wanna-
do.
Okay,
They
so
do.
okay, yeah, that's what I want to hear.
But like again, like I don't know about you, but sometimes it doesn't work. Like just with drugs too. Sometimes drugs
Yes,
don't work.
sometimes there's a desensitization to whatever you're watching.
What's your favorite race of instructor?
My top 5. Don't have a favorite race.
Yeah.
I do cycle through races. I think it's kind of interesting.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, we're such good people.
Well, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Same 5 races.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch less porn.
Me too.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know. I try to stop. I'm trying to stop. Because like all my favorite porn stars have quit
Have died.
because they've died. Yeah.
That was
There are a
also
lot
the
of
last
ones
episode.
late. I don't know if it's lately or always, but
I think
lately
always.
there's been names popping up.
Yeah.
There've been
Uh-oh.
what?
There have been names popping up of people like a lot of porn stars dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too.
I
We
wonder if
probably
that's-
read the same names.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's I think just porn stars is very popular on every level that when they start dying it's like it feels, I don't know, more apparent in your face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, there's all those stories of the industry being pretty like vicious.
Yeah, it's a bad industry, a lot of drugs.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
ODs.
So maybe I'll
Do
start
you
watching.
think it's the industry that's vicious, or is it just the lifestyle of it that puts you in a place where you?
I think it's both.
probably a combination of that, and also probably the. I mean,
the people.
The people who are going into that,
Yeah.
I mean, are probably at a disadvantage
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
A very diplomatic answer.
No, I think it's true that a lot of them are like abused growing up.
Yeah.
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 Is this news to you? Like, what are you
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's
Are you
totally
skeptical?
not.
what's
No,
his
no, that's
face?
totally.
You're just thinking.
No, abuse has to be a case in like 90% of the cases.
Porn stars.
And every so often you'll see a porn starlet that's like,
Starlet.
yeah, that's what they, like, I guess when you say it when they're nice and young, I guess.
Okay.
I call them thespians, personally.
But then they'll be like, yeah, I had a great upbringing and I just love sex.
But it's like 2% of like.
It's a small portion. And I still think there's something there's a wire that's
Yeah.
no,
across.
yeah, I don't know.
You're
I kind of get it.
yeah.
To be like watch like, oh, like I'm good at this thing that's very like primal and that's like cool of me. You know, you want to show off. People like showing off. It's normal, right?
Show off how good they are at it?
At
no,
things.
I don't think it's normal to be a porn
exhibitionist?
star. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
I think no,
Oh,
I wouldn't
no,
say
no.
that's like the norm, no.
No. But I think what you're saying, like the people who are like, I just like sex and I like exhibitionism. I think that is like, I get it. You know,
Yeah.
like people.
No,
who like
what
to
I'm
show off on
saying
it,
is that they may be saying that and that there's,
you think they're hiding something.
yeah, maybe it's either hidden or there's something else that I don't know.
That's the advice.
Yeah, something gets
Damn.
there's a price somewhere.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
maybe.
And I'm all for like sexual.
Well, the price is
liberation,
they're probably
yada,
gonna
yada.
die in 4 years. they all expire pretty fast.
This is interesting though. I wouldn't need to think about
And
it.
I'm
more.
on their
I
side.
want to talk
I don't,
about it more.
yeah, I don't
It
want
takes.
them to
I mean,
die.
certainly it takes like an incredible amount of numbness to
Mm.
not feel all like your entire everyone that knows you sees
Yeah.
you do this,
Yeah.
and
It's kind of
the
again. I feel like I get it though, in a weird way. You're explaining. I'm like, yeah, I get that.
I feel like you get it on a
It's-
macro level, but like, I mean,
Damn, am I a porn star? Should I do this?
there we go. Now we're tapping
Should I
into
do
it.
it?
Now we're tapping into it.
Yeah, I could do it. I mean, I couldn't do it. I don't think I have the prowess to do it. But like, if I think like psychologically, I can make myself do it.
do what?
Porn.
Porn?
Do porn?
Yeah, if I need to put
You
myself
think you could do it?
on camera.
Man, I'm telling you, that shit is for men harder than probably
Yeah.
you would ever.
Oh, I don't think I'd be good at it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be good at it. But I think I wouldn't be as bothered. I think other people would.
Me and Vic told you get hard right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
two,
can do
you
that?
two handsome boys. Easy.
He does
No, I
like being
couldn't.
instructed.
That's true.
That is the thing that would get him.
That would
hard.
get me going.
Get hard
sure.
on the count of 5.
There we go.
But they're doing doing incredible things. I'm saying it like they're saving like a part of
Impressive
Africa.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're very impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like I get nervous just with one person
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
I need so much mental focus to just have regular sex.
Yeah.
So imagine a room of people. You're killing money because you're
Right.
taking too long, and
Yeah.
I don't know, the lighting, blah blah blah, sound guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a production.
Yeah. Is a production.
She just finished crying or something.
Nah, she did like a few lines of coke. She's fine. She's having fun. We're having fun. Peter, we gotta wrap this up. I gotta
yeah?
piss real bad. We're about to hit an hour 30, which
Oh,
is
okay.
pretty
Talk about-
crazy. We should.
What were we, hour 30?
We're about to hit an hour 30.
Wow.
We
We,
can keep
covered
going.
a lot.
Felt like we were
covered a
cooking.
lot.
I know. This is what happened last time you came out. We just kept talking. It was great.
Oh, okay. I'm
You're a
sorry.
great pod guest. One of the best.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry, every other guest. We do that every time. We're like, sorry, this is the best one.
We had some
Since.
bad ones.
Yeah, let's name them. Meredith.
I don't. They're all great. They're all great.
All right, let's wrap up. Peter, where can we find
Do
you?
you ever one last question?
Yeah, please.
Do you ever jerk off without porn?
I have, yeah.
And how do you get there?
I sometimes listen to audio. I'm a big audio guy.
Well, that's still
like audio, like
like
yeah.
rain sounds
sensual
ASMR.
No, like sex audio.
Oh,
Not
okay.
like people having sex, but there's a
is
there's
the
a
Joe Rogan
genre.
experience.
There's a genre of audio porn,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
which I like.
I've done that
sometimes.
too. That
Not-
is a big trigger for me too.
Not like fast mechanical keyboard click clack. 24
Now
hours.
you mention it. I love those clicks, those RGBs, 22s, the cherry keyboards.
Okay. Yes, but you never run off imagination or thoughts.
Not in a long time, but I have. But yeah, not a long time.
I should say we should give Art some slack. He has a disadvantage because his girlfriend is in the other room. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. So we kind of are able to talk about this
Just
freely.
a gun pointed at me. Is there a red dot on my forehead, guys?
Can you hear
Dead.
us? All
She
right,
probably
I think
has
we're in the
things
clear.
on. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Anyway, let's wrap up. We were cooking. I'm really just wrapping because I got pee so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was a great
It was
episode.
great up.
It was great.
We'll have you back. You know.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I feel like we could talk about porn for another hour. I still
Yeah.
have things that I want to talk about.
Me too.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot.
We're the best people in the world. I love us.
Yeah.
Peter, where can we find you? What's going on?
I just put out my special last Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's called Don't Move,
Don't Move.
on YouTube, and I'm proud of it. I'd love for you to check it out, and then follow me on Instagram, Peter Wong Comedy, and you find my show dates there.
Nice.
And I will have a movie coming out
Whoa.
in the summer. Brandon Routh is in it,
Cool.
and Mina Suvari,
Cool.
and a bunch of other people. So stay tuned for that.
Sweet.
So please follow me.
Nice.
Yeah. And watch a special.
Watch a special.
Yeah.
Anything for you, Vic? Anything you want to say?
No. They already followed me. Keep listening to the pod.
Yeah, it's just our friends. Cool. Thanks for listening, y'all. I love you guys. Have an amazing week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, dude.